Today I am going to give you some information on a skin condition called pityriasis rosea. I am going to tell you what it is, signs and symptoms, the cause, how it's diagnosed, and how they treat it. I'm also going to give you a personal experience on pityriasis rosea. What is pityriasis rosea? It is an asymptomatic, self-limiting cutaneous condition in which you have papules. Papules are pimples without pus. It usually affects young adolescent kids, young adolescent healthy individuals, and it is also considered a mild skin condition. Pityriasis rosea usually occurs with a rash. It can actually come from 10 years old to 35 years old. It usually does not leave any kind of permanent skin discoloration, and it can last from weeks to months. Some signs and symptoms is usually, it starts off with one patch, and it's really a really large patch. And that is usually called the Herald Mother patch. It actually is like a scaly, it appears on the chest and the back, and most people actually get it confused with a ringworm. My experience with this skin condition was my daughter. She actually had one of these patches come up on the center of her chest. My first instinct was a ringworm. So I treated it with some antifungal cream. We treated it for about a week, and it never went away. It never got smaller, it was just there. She did have a little bit of itching, and it had the scaly surface. Well, it never went away. So we went to her doctor. Her doctor actually prescribed a stronger antifungal cream because he thought it was fungus too. Did not go away. And so then 2 weeks later, she actually ended up having like a gynecologist appointment. So I said, well, we'll get them to look at it too. By this time, it's still just one patch. He treats her with a prednisone pack, along with like hydrocortisone cream for the itching. It cleared it up a little bit. By that time, she had broke out in other little spots. So that is a classical sign. It usually starts with the one Herald patch, and then it actually gets to the point where smaller patches appear 2 to 3 weeks later. It can be aggravated with physical activity, jogging, sweating, hot baths. And it usually appears, the Herald Mother patch appears on the chest or the back, and then the other ones can actually appear on the legs and the arms. So about half of the people complain about the itching, and it's extremely itching when they're overheated, when they do the jogging, and it can last up to 6 weeks. And these are actually some pictures on my PowerPoint from when she had it. This one I do not think it is. These are not though. Let me go back. These are. And these were actually located at the hip. These were not the mother patch. These were the ones that came later on after she had it. Okay, the cause. The cause is usually unknown. At one time they were thinking that it was a fungal, and that's why it actually looks just like a fungal infection. So I actually treated it fungal, but it's not. They say that a lot of times, the dermatologist is actually saying that they think it's viral because it makes you feel real tired and ill. But she didn't actually have a lot of those symptoms. Her only thing was the itching and the patches. It does not spread from person to person either, so it's not contagious. How it's diagnosed. Usually the diagnosis is made through the dermatologist, and that's who diagnosed hers. So I carried her to her pediatrician. He thought it was antifungal. Then I carried her to the OBGYN. He thought it was an allergic reaction to something that she had came into contact with later on, and then the dermatologist, as soon as they seen it, they knew what it was. But they said that there was really no kind of particular treatment that you can actually take for it. But they actually scraped hers. So what I did was I actually scraped hers too, because I was in a microbiology class, and so I scraped it and I grew it. And this is what it looks like. That was on a plate auger. And that's what it grew under the microscope. It's a little rod-shaped thing. And that was her treatment. They actually gave her an external cream of the hydrocortisone cream, and then they also gave her the prednisone pack. So they did the skin scraping. They looked under the microscope also, and then they gave her, they can actually draw blood work, but they didn't draw any blood work on her. Here are some more pictures of hers. That was hers too. And these are actually hers, the little spots scattered throughout. She actually thought she had a monster inside of her too, because when the first pack showed up, it wouldn't never go away. And then once it showed up sporadically throughout it. And that's her side right there too. So this is just a little information on pityriasis rosea.